think we're live. Let's see. Let's see if everybody's still on the Dr. Z's stream. Let's see if I can get to my chat this time. That's not the way to do it. And I gotta get the doc to show me how to do this, how to figure this stuff out. Stream health seems okay. Oof, no, that's orange. I think orange is bad. Let's see. One watching. I wonder if that's me. Let's see. Can anybody see me or hear me? Says that I'm streaming. I see here, oh, 17 watching. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Enable. I wonder if I need to do this. Oh, there's the chat. Oh no, that's exactly what I wanted. The chat. Hey, I found the chat. Awesome. Cool. All right, so the doc is signing off. Can you hear me good? Video and sound good? All right, I bought a new webcam just for you guys, so hopefully it's good. All right. Let's see. I've got my giant TV up here, 50-inch TV that's got the chat on it, so I shouldn't miss it. And then I've got a little old 15-inch monitor down here that I actually have all the stuff that you guys are going to see on the screen. We'll see how that goes. But I didn't want to have to look all the way up the whole time that I was streaming, so I got you down here on this old monitor that I have. So the plan for the stream is that since it's the new year and this is my first new year as I'm doing it, I want to go through all of my videos just sort of one by one real quick for most of them and get some feedback from you guys, see if there's anything that you guys have done on my projects here, like which ones you guys have completed and if you've had any problems with them, and then if I've had any problems with them and if I have had to change them in some way. So it real easy to start at the beginning here. My first video ever was on this Node-RED watchdog, and you no longer need the Node-RED watchdog. So if you're still using the Node-RED watchdog, not necessary anymore. Frank, when Frank did his new add-on and we stopped using the notorious BDG version, you don't need the Node-RED watchdog anymore. It already has a watchdog. It already has automations. I mean, they're not done with automations. They're done with whatever Frank's magic is. But Frank's version of Node-RED will automatically restart just when exactly when Home Assistant restarts, and if it loses connection, it'll automatically restart again. So I don't run the watchdog anymore for Node-RED. Don't need to. Troubleshooting NodeMCU upload quick fixes. I've figured out a few more things on this. One of the things that I figured out with the NodeMCU is when I am uploading someone else's code, it matters what version of the NodeMCU board manager I'm using. So if it's code from like 3 years ago or something like that, or 2 years ago, and it's never been updated, and then I go and I try to use it on the NodeMCU and it throws some random error like a compiler error or something like that, sometimes I go back in and I update or I downgrade my NodeMCU version so that I could I can use that old code. Maximiliano says, Frank's Node-RED is crashing my HA. Is it only me? I had to go back to the older one. I'm not having that problem. When specifically is it crashing your HA? Let's see if I can make this bigger so my old eyes, oh no, it makes everything bigger. Okay, that's fine. Were you able to flash a smart plug? Yeah. I flashed a bunch of smart plugs. Which smart plug are you looking at, Jorge? William, I do not have a Twitch stream. I mean, I do have a Twitch account, but I don't have the multiple things set up like the doc does. I can probably get that set up if you guys would rather watch on Twitch. I actually used to stream video games on Twitch, so so I still have that account. That was actually a pretty funny story. Um, Way back when Hearthstone. You guys ever heard the game Hearthstone? It's one of the Blizzard games. When Hearthstone first came out, the very first season, so there was two seasons of beta, and then the very first real season, I did really, really, really well. I finished like number 12 or 13 or something like that in North America. And so I had been doing some Twitch streaming of Hearthstone, and that was all well and good. It was fine, you know. But I would occasionally Twitch some other stuff or Twitch stream some other stuff, and I was I was Twitch streaming WoW World of Warcraft Arena with some of my friends from that I'd been playing World of Warcraft for a long time, and they're good people, but they had very dirty mouths and dirty language as we were in Arena, and I also have a YouTube channel for my AP Biology classroom. I videotape my lectures and then I post them online. And so one of the things that I didn't realize had happened was that Twitch and YouTube had combined, and what they did was they put notifications on your YouTube channel for you automatically whenever you went live. So I had all these students who were watching my AP Biology videos, and they were watching the videos, and then they were getting these messages that said, Mr. Tate has gone live on Twitch, and so then it was going over, and they were watching me play WoW Arena. So I had to delete that account, but I have another because I never was able to get the two accounts separated from one another. Like once the merge happened, nothing could separate them. So oh look, hey Caleb, there's a student right there. All right. So anyways, let's see. I was going through videos and talking about which ones I still use and which ones I don't. This one was just a video on microcontrollers. You can see it's totally different than the rest of my videos. This is before I figured out the branding for my channel and stuff. This is a good video still, other than the fact that I recorded it in super dim lighting and didn't know anything about the new version of Adobe Premiere that I was using. So, but it's still a good video. I actually might show this to my engineering class just because it's a good overview of microcontrollers. Then this one, the DIY window sensor video, was good, and I still use those window sensors. I love them. But up here is the good stuff for that. I had to go through, because in that video, one of the things that I did is I used ESP01s, and then I removed all the pins from them, which is great because then they're super small, but it was super bad because then you can't really change the programming on them. So when I got all this viewer feedback about, hey, you should include battery level and you should include, what was a static IP. I was like, oh no, I should do that, right? So I went back and did it, but then I had to go back and actually put the pins back in all of my ESP01s to reflash them. But they're still working great. Batteries are still going good. In fact, I don't open the windows in our house very often, but I just like 2 weeks ago, my wife was out on the patio and I opened up the window that like goes from the kitchen to the pool, and I was just to talk to her, and I opened it up, and sure enough I got the notification on my watch and it said, hey, the window's been open. And I was like, oh, I forgot those were even there, so that's perfect. Let's see, the merge, yeah. Will Shelly modules be easier to find in 2019? I'd like to say yes. I know for a fact they are ramping up their production, but I'm also gonna say no. Kirabi, if I butcher your name, it's because my monitor has really low resolution. It's like an old 1080p TV, so everything's huge, but it's bad resolution. And so the eyes look like L's. I can't really distinguish them. So anyways, Shelly modules easier to find in 2019. Yes, they are making a lot more of them, but I wouldn't expect them to be really easy to find because you might have heard that they are in the process of, and they probably will be UL certified like within the next month. And I foresee that it will be impossible to find them for a couple of months after that. Because if they get UL listed, that was pretty much the main thing that was keeping people away from them, was stopping people from buying them. And so once they get that done, it's going to be pretty hard to find them, I think. I know that they are trying to build up greater stock, but even now, when they haven't gotten their UL cert yet, they're still really hard to find. There's a new version of the Shelly 1 somewhere over here. Is that super loud for you, me digging through my pile of stuff? Oh, I dropped it. This is you might have seen these. These are the version 3. Oh, that's weird. These are the version 3s of the Shelly 1, and they are pretty cool because you've got the neutral and the live switched back now. So that means that all of these GPIO pins are now low voltage, like everybody was asking for. Did you see they are announcing new stuff at CES? Yep, I might know what those are. I'm not going to say what they are, but I might know. Yeah, no, I have been in contact with Dimitar about the CES. I'll be at their booth. Well, I mean, not like constantly at their booth, but I am going to stop by their booth. All right, DigiBlur videos. He has some for dimmers. Yes, he does. I actually bought the OTIM dimmer, which was the first video that he did on the dimmers, and yeah, I will be live streaming a lot from CES. Anyway, so I bought the OTIM dimmer because that was the first one that he did, and then I didn't flash it. I have a use case for it. I'm going to replace the Belkin Wemo dimmer that I have, but I just didn't get around to it. And then he put out the other thing about the oh man, what's the name? It's like a person. Oh, Martin Jerry, the Martin Jerry dimmers. Martin Jerry dimmer. Yeah, these things. He put out a video about these things, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna waste my time on the OTIM dimmer if these things are here, because these are way better. A 2-pack for $46 is a little. I mean, two is great for $46, but you can register it's got an on-off at the bottom, and then each of those little rocker panel things is a separate switch in Tasmota, so you can get it super hooked up. I'm really excited for those. But like I said, I haven't gotten them yet. Oh, I lost my chat. There's my chat. Wish I could get Martin Jerry dimmer in Canada. Why not? Can you not? Can Canada not order from Amazon US? Do they charge you lots of money to order from Amazon US? Or can you not even do that? So funny story, I'm going to be giving away some coupon codes for ZemiSmarts, for those ZemiSmart lights. I have 2 coupon codes that are 80% off. And I'm going to be giving those away because I gave away 2 of the downlights on my Patreon because they gave me these coupon codes to do that. And I did the drawing and both of the people were not from the United States. And so I went to go order the ZemiSmart RGB lights for those two people who I did the giveaway for. And it was going to be like, I think with the coupon, it's like $3 or $4 for the light, down from 40, which is awesome. But when I gave them away to the people who were out of the country, I had to pay all these luxury import taxes and shipping fees out of country and stuff like that. And it was going to be like $40 to get them the thing from Amazon US, even using the coupon. And I was like, well, that's a total waste, because the coupon, they're $40 without the coupon. And so I, for those two people that won the Patreon stuff, I just went and bought them from the AliExpress store on ZemiSmart, or the ZemiSmart store on AliExpress, because it was only like $28 or something like that to buy them from AliExpress and get them shipped, versus using the 80% off coupon, using it at Amazon.com US, and then having it shipped to some other country. So I just bought it. But anyways, what that means is I still have 2 of the codes, so I'll give those away tonight, but only to US people, or people who are going to use them to buy the thing from Amazon US, because otherwise there's no point. All right, let's see, what did I miss? They work perfect. Tuya config. Man, I really want to love Tuya, but I'm so scared of it. I'm so scared of where the Tuya cloud is, who's running the Tuya cloud, what are they doing with that information, what power do they have over your device once you've registered with the Tuya cloud. I've got a video coming up with that's about smart home security, and not about like security systems or anything, but about network security and how vulnerable your smart home is and how vulnerable Wi-Fi devices are and stuff like that. And man, pretty much the number one thing that we talked about was, if there is a device in your house, which everybody has, your smart TV has a cloud that it hooks up to. If you have that, then it is absolutely, you are vulnerable, because there's something that's on your home network that has access to your router and can exploit your router, especially if you haven't disabled UPnP, which if you haven't disabled UPnP, you should do that like now. There's all these exploits for UPnP and for Wi-Fi de-authing and stuff like that are really scary. And I know a small amount of them, and the guy that I was interviewing, Charlton, knows a lot of them, all of them. Can you run Tesmoda on that ZemiSmart? Absolutely. Yes, that is. I have Tesmoda on all of the ZemiSmarts that I have. And they're sending me some other good stuff too. They're sending me some switches, and then also some outlets, some US outlets that have 2 switchable plugs, and then also USB on them. So I'm going to do my best to get those flashed as well. Yeah, and that's another, Stuart, that is another thing. Update your router firmware. We talked about that 99% of people out there probably have never updated their router firmware, and it's terrifying. Let me show you, man, talk about, I don't know if I should do this on stream. Probably fine. Shodan.io. You guys ever heard of Shodan.io? So basically it's this big it's a bot that combs the internet for things that are available, things that are public. And so you can use any keyword. So you could type in, IP camera, for instance, and I'm not going to do that because of what might come up, because it's just going to be a bunch of people's IP cameras that either are using default credentials or don't have any credentials at all. And so it's going to pop a bunch of those. But relevant for us, you can type in things like Home Assistant, and it's just going to bring up people's IPs that are running Home Assistant. You can see here, you can even see which version of Home Assistant they're running, right? And you can click on them, and sure enough, 99% of the time, it's gonna send you to their Home Assistant login page, and it's got this. It's not just Home Assistant. You can search for OpenHab too. I might need to be one word. But anyways, this is a terrifying website that you can spend a lot of time on, and it'll make you think twice about internet security and things like that. And this is just available for everybody, and it's sort of good that it's out there because it means that it's increasing the awareness of it. But yeah, Shodan.io, pretty scary stuff. Let's see. Samsung TV gets plugged in every 6 months for firmware updates and gets unplugged right away. Yeah, but what if you want to use like the smart TV stuff? What do you want to use Netflix on it or something? Well, then you have to give it access, and who knows what else it's going to do with that access. Flash test mode, yeah. US dual control outlet. US dual, oh. Yeah, the US dual control outlet, that'll be coming out. They sent the package to me like a week and a half ago or something like that, so it should be coming soon. But again, Roku's another good example of somebody they have the ability to publish new firmware to their Roku system, and that new firmware could be malicious. Now, at a certain point, you have to be trusting of somebody. You have to say, it's Shodan.io. Shodan.io. At a certain point, you have to be trusting of some company out there. You have to say, okay, well, this company, whether it's Roku's a pretty big company, so they're probably not going to mess with you. That's why, I've mentioned it before. I put a lot of my trust in Amazon, and I put a lot of my trust in Google because they're such big companies. First of all, they're not going to go under, right? They're not going to go out of business, and then their stuff's not going to stop working. And second of all, they are spending a lot of time and effort, and they have the best programmers, at least in the United States, maybe in the world, working for them. And so your stuff is the safest with them. If you look at something like Schlage or one of these lock companies, what programmer is getting a job with Schlage? You're not getting the same caliber of programmer writing the programs for Schlage that you would for Google or something like that. And so you got to be really careful with what stuff you put in your house, because who knows who programmed it? Who knows what kind of vulnerabilities are in there? Just it doesn't even have to be malicious vulnerabilities. It just is bad programming. So yeah, I don't know. Schlage makes awesome locks. Schlage is a lock making company. If you're an engineer who really wants to make locks, you might go work for Schlage and it might be great. But they're not an IoT company, right? And so, not, yeah. Yeah, Stuart, the Shelly, I know for a fact they are manufacturing dimmer switches, not manufacturing them yet, but they are developing them. Yeah, Dimitar is their CEO, and he's super active on the Facebook group. And he actually posted a while back that he posted their test bed, and he posted some frequency analyzers and stuff like that they were using on their test bench. But it was pretty obvious from what they had posted that they were testing some stuff with triacs. So it's probably for dimmers, and I know they've been talking about doing it for a long time. Yeah, the Shelly Facebook group. Do I have to approve it? I don't know how to do that. Is there a way that I can approve the link, or did you post it in the Dr. Z's channel? James, I don't have a Discord channel. I'm not on Discord enough. In fact, so this is one thing that I've given a lot of thought to. Dr. Z was talking about the other day, how good the community is for Home Assistant and how awesome all you guys are. And I 100% agree with him. It's an awesome community. But I'm a member of the Facebook group for Dr. Z's. I am a member of the Discord for Dr. Z's and the Discord for Home Assistant as well. So, I mean, should I make my own stuff? Should I make my own Facebook group, and should I make my own Discord channel? I feel like it's not worth it. It's just another place for me to check stuff. Whereas if you summon me, if at the hookup me in the Docs channel on Discord, I'll get a message on my phone and I'll come help. So I just feel like there's not any reason to do that. Have you seen the video about the electric that you can make anything touch sensitive? I haven't. Electric, is that the Walmart brand switches? You found my MySpace? It's probably still out there. Did MySpace go down all the way? I didn't actively delete my MySpace, so if you want to go back to early 2000s. How should you flash your switches so you don't use Tuya with Tasmota? Yeah, you can. Tuya components, Tuya stuff is Wi-Fi, and almost all of them use ESP8266s to do that Wi-Fi, to do the communication. And so what you end up with is just normal pinouts. A lot of them use the ESP12Es, and some of them, like the Zemismart lights that I got, they just had markings on nice solder pads that said RX, TX, 3v3, ground, and GPIO 0. And so I didn't even need to pin anything out. I just threw some wires on it and flashed it, and it was done. And if it's a simple switch, then it's just going to be a button, a GPIO button with Tasmota, and a relay. So super easy to do. Search YouTube for electric. Your wish is my command. Electric switch. I do not see. I think it just thought that oh no, here we go. Electric switchboard cutting machine? Is that what I'm supposed to be looking at? I don't think this is right. Do you have a link for me? Way to make anything touch sensitive. Now, oh, I've seen those, like where they play the keyboard on a banana and stuff like that. They like shove the electrodes in it. Yeah, yeah, I've seen that. So capacitive touch is actually really cool, and it's really easy to do. It's really easy to do terribly and really hard to do well. And so basically, when you touch something, the capacitance changes, and if you have an analog input, you can measure that change pretty easily, and then you can have like a little, like a super small circuit that can measure the changes pretty easily. Yeah, So I was just about to say that, Joe. Simone Gertz, her new, I didn't watch the banana controller one, but she did a video with her new timer or switch thing, that her meditation switches that she's doing on um, GoFundMe, or what's the good Kickstarter, um, and yeah, she's using all capacitive touch. Yeah, she did. I think it was untested. You're right, and she talks a little bit about capacitive touch, which sent me down a YouTube rabbit hole, which I often go on, about some really in-depth stuff about filtering for capacitive touch, and so Joe, along those lines, because I went down this YouTube hole, or because I was getting into that, I think it's well on my list of things to make a smaller version that's open source and DIY. Oh, she's gonna open source it. That's awesome, because I was very much thinking about doing it myself. I've gotten a lot of offers from PCB companies, from like JLB PCB and PCB Way and stuff like that, to do sponsored videos. And I don't love sponsored videos, but I would love being able to put out a bunch of Gerber files and say, hey, here's how you make this capacitive touch sensor thing. Because the thing about the capacitive touch is it's really just in the PCB. Like, if you make the PCB the correct way, you can just plug a microcontroller into it, and then it just works. It's like magic. So so that's in the pipeline. That's one of my projects that I've been working on. Are there any good resources for telling what wire is behind a light switch? What do you mean, what wire is behind the light switch? Other than just pulling the light switch out, Alex? Just pull the plate off and see what's back there? Hey Tony, how are you? Oh, which Alex, are you from the United States? Where are you from? All have the same color wire. Are they all white? Oh, you're in Australia. I don't know then. That's crazy. Yeah, a multimeter is what you need. Hey, Bobby. All light gray. Now, I know in my house, all the wires appear to be white until you pull the wire out and you scrape them. They're only white because whenever they put the orange peel on the wall, whenever they did the texturing on the wall, they didn't bother to wrap up the wires, and so they're all covered in plaster. But you can go and just scrape the plaster off and see what color wire's underneath. But if it's actually light gray sheathing, then you're out of luck. Stream upside down. Oh, in Australia. Solid. Solid. Solid joke there. All right. Let's see. Let's go over some more stuff until we get more stuff in the chat. All right, so hidden features of the Sonoff Basic. Absolutely use this all the time. Two of my favorite things that we have are the LED utilizing switch plates here. So I've got these switch plates that have a hole drilled in them, and then they've got a little piece of plastic that's actually like a little earring backer. Shoved that in there, and then I use the light, the LED, on the Sonoff Basic in order to light up an LED given basic various things. So, for instance, when the garage door's up, the light switch that's closest to the garage door has an LED that turns on, so you know that the garage door is open. When the security system turns on in the house, the LED turns on, that has a little picture of a house. Why don't I teach AP Computer Science? I do, Jake. Let's see, Alex. Water flows counterclockwise. Actually, Bitcoin, Mendelin, they Smarter Every Day. I think it was Smarter Every Day, and Veritasium did a thing where they checked to see the water flow if it was different, and it was not different. What gauge wire did you use when you soldered up your proto boards for your LEDs? The data wire, like the power or data? How can you wire up a door sensor and a Sonoff basic attached to GPIO 14? I have a video about that. It's called add a door sensor to any door with a Sonoff basic. That video right there.
Today on the hookup.
Copy and paste it in here. Yeah, Stuart, that's a good one. That's a super good one. Also, it flashes the light. What earring backing? I linked them down there. It's just like a... Where's that video? Here we go.
We're gonna learn
Oh, these Teespring things. So, I made these for myself. If you want to buy one, you can. But I made them for myself to wear to CES. And I didn't think they were going to get there, and I was so sad. And I just got my tracking number, and they're going to be here on the 5th. So I don't leave until the 7th for CES. Let's see. Earring backing, LED diffusers. Oops. That didn't work how I wanted. I just use those things. They're just little plastic bits. And you drill a hole for them, and then you shove them in there, and they've got a little notch on the top of them. I don't know if you can see. They've got a little notch here that stops you from pushing them all the way through, and so it just diffuses the light perfectly. It looks like a little professional switch. Hello from Georgia. Go Dogs, right? Let's see. Found out. Crazy Editor, what do you mean? So consider adding one LED to each zone beside your control box as a reference to see what each zone is doing. Oh, like what zone got triggered, you mean, for my security system? I actually have an awesome system for that. So as part of the Node Red flow for my security system, whenever, and it's only happened twice, and both of them were by accident, thankfully. For my Christmas lighting. Okay, never mind. I thought you were talking about the security system, but we'll get back to that. Whenever a door is open when the security system is on, it because most of the time it's gonna be at night, it makes the CEC, the HDMI CEC turns on our bedroom TV, and it does a Google TTS, text to speech, and it says, alert, sliding glass door has been opened or something like that. And then after it says alert, sliding glass door has been opened, it pulls up a video camera. It pulls up the camera footage of that area. So you can see immediately, the window has been broken, or the door is open, or something like that. It's super cool. Now, like I said, both times it's happened, it's because the first time the light that is on the switch plate that said that the security system was on had turned off for some reason. I think Node Red had rebooted or something like that, and the light got out of sync. And so my wife, she runs like 6 miles every morning before I wake up, and she had left the front door thinking that the security system was off. And so it set off the alarms, and it said, front door has been opened. And I got this picture of my wife, like, staring up at the security camera, and I was like, oh no, I've done bad things. But yeah, it's super cool. And I'm gonna do a video on my security system setup once I get finished with upgrading it. It's right now it's all analog cameras and they're pretty low resolution. They're 960 TVLs, TV lines, um, which isn't terrible, but I really would like to have PoE cameras, and I'd really like to have PoE cameras that don't have some terrible firmware on them. So that's one of my main things that I'm going to be doing at CES, is going around and trying to find a company that makes really good security camera gear, and then trying to make a deal with them to do some videos and do a full upgrade. I have nine security cameras on my house, so it's not going to be cheap, but it's going to be worth it. All right, let's see what we got. Explain the node red flow again, especially the switch node, with property message.payload.event.action name. So Jason, whenever you have that many dots, message.payload.event.action name, that just means that they're in the message payload. There's a JSON file, and then in the JSON file there is something that's called event, and then nested within that there's an event called action name. And so whenever you do dots like that, it just goes deeper and deeper into the JSON file so that you can pull out a specific value. All right, let's go back with this Christmas lights thing. Crazy editor. Consider adding one LED for each zone beside the control box as a reference to remotely see what the zones are doing. Oh, I get it. So basically, right next to the control box, you'd use a 1 pixel to tell whether or not that zone was on. I get it. Actually, that's a really common thing for people to do, but not for that reason. And that's if you put a pixel right at the very beginning, centimeters away from the box, and you could use it as an indicator light or whatever. But what that allows you to do most of the time is you can get rid of the logic level converter, because it's close enough that the data hasn't degraded yet, and the voltage hasn't dropped at all on the data line, and so you're going to get solid readings, and the data is going to be intact. And then each one of them is going to each WS2811 or WS2812 chip is going to take in that data and rebroadcast it at the VCC voltage. So that means that you can send it data at 3.3 volts for the very first pixel, and then if the very first pixel is close, it'll send it on to the next pixel at 5 volt. Yeah, it's called a I'm forgetting, shift register. Shift register? Is that a thing? Unify. Let's see, what are we talking about here? Unify support Paul. So I've got some friends that do IT, a lot of friends that do IT, and they are almost all using Unify. I wanted to do Unify stuff, but first of all, it's difficult to set up. It's not easy at all. And so for somebody like me who makes videos, I could see how it would be really disconcerting for viewers to say, well, hey, in order to do this, I just went into my Unify controller here and did yada, yada, yada. And it just makes it so that it's harder for it to actually happen. And, if you can do a lot more things than that other people can't do. It's also the reason that I use Hass.io. Because I want to make videos that are useful to people, and if you are somebody who is a Docker person and you've got a Linux server at your house and stuff like that, like, yeah, you might watch the videos, but you gotta also try to get videos that people can watch that are not gonna have a server rack at their house, that are going to be more accessible. Unify isn't hard, really. I'm new to networking. That's good. What What Unify stuff did you get? Did you just get a USG? And also, it's not hard, but they're also really easy to set up wrong. Um, you you have access to everything, and because you have access to everything, you need to do all of the things, right? And so if you set them up incorrectly, you can really screw yourself. Whereas I use Google Wi-Fi in my house, and it's like, I mean, given it's too easy, it's too simple, and there aren't enough controls, but you can't screw it up. Yeah, and I'm not saying by any stretch of the word that Unify is or that Google Wi-Fi is better than Unify. Absolutely not. Ubiquity stuff, if you get into it and do it right, is the best. Actually, Stuart, have you read the reviews for the Amplify stuff? It's getting terrible reviews. I almost bought it. I have heard nothing but bad things about Amplify. Again, Media Cowboy, I absolutely did not do that. I uh, I think that Docker is better than Hasio, right? I think that Docker in Linux is a more robust system than Hasio, but it is not a system that everyone is going to be using. It's a hard to set up system. It is a easy to mess up system. And so when I do videos on things, I want to have hardware that other people can have, that people who are not tech savvy can have. And I say not tech savvy. Everybody that's watching my channel is tech savvy. People who are not IT professionals is what I mean. Linux rocks for the most part. I agree. It's free. That's the number one thing that rocks. What's my favorite Linux? Well, the only Linux that I currently use at all is Kali. And that is because I run the hacking club, the white hat hacking team at my high school, and so we use Kali, and so it's the only distribution of it that I use. Everything else in my house is Windows, except for of course, and even that I now have a Windows virtual machine for uh, for Hasio. Is there a Docker image for Hasio yet? Alex, I think that there's a good video on that. Adrian has done a good video on that. Burns HA. So you can find it.
Not
I think it's this one. Well, how do I run natively on x86? I don't believe so. Sure, I mentioned it before. What do you teach? I teach AP Biology. You ready for this? So I teach AP Biology. I teach an Introduction to Engineering class called Principles of Technology, and I teach AP Computer Science. Um, Now, this is the first year of teaching AP Computer Science, and I have taught in the past chemistry and physics as well. But I'm mostly a science teacher. So if it's in high school and if it's a science thing, that's what I teach. AP Health, they don't have AP Health. Uh, they should have AP Health. It's an important subject and it is not taught at a high level. Um, I teach AP Biology. What is my wireless mic brand? The one that I use for my videos? They are Sennheisers. It is my one piece of gear that I spent money on. I'm the mic that I'm using here is just the built-in mic that was on the Razer Koyo or something like that. Koyo. That's the webcam that I bought. Razer or something. Kayo. What language do you use in AP Comp Sci? Well, AP Comp Sci A writes in Java, and AP Comp Sci Principles writes in JavaScript. And then my Principles of Technology class, we write in C. Don't think that's Hasayo. Bummer. I thought it was. I'm pretty sure that Adrian from Burns HA did one, but how to install Hasayo on Ubuntu, beginner's guide to Hasayo. No, that's bro. I'll have to take a look for it. I'm pretty sure he did it though. Yeah, AP is advanced placement. So whenever you take an AP course, at the end of the year, there's a standardized test that you take that's run by a company called College Board. And when you take that standardized test, if you get, they grade it 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And if you get a 3, you get college elective credit for it. If you get a 4, you generally get that credit for the class. So if it's like a comp sci class, you can get an introduction to comp sci credit. And if you get a 5, generally you get the credit for that class. And then also if there's a lab associated with it, like in AP Biology, for instance, you get credit for taking intro to bio, and then you also get credit for the bio lab. Same with chemistry and physics. Frank has a guide. I'm actually not subscribed to Frank's channel. I need to do that. To Frank's YouTube channel. Those. Oh wait. There he is. Subscribe. All right. Now we're good. I watch him on Twitch all the time, but I've never subscribed to his channel on YouTube. Hi Rob, is there a way to pull the config off of a NodeMCU? I lost my sketch. There is not supposed to be, JC, and there's not an easy way to do it if that's what you're asking. It's more of a hacking thing. You'd have to extract it and then use something called something like Binwalker, which is a hacking tool that sort of decompiles things. But there's no good way to do it. No, it's obscured at that point. Do any of your students watch your channel? Yes. Some IDOT down there is my student. In fact, I just submitted his college recommendation today. Why do I choose to be a school teacher as opposed to working in industry? I really like it. I really like teaching. I also, obviously I do this YouTube thing. I just like teaching people about stuff. So it works out for me. I couldn't handle getting a bunch of Um, I couldn't handle getting a bunch of calls from people all day saying my computer doesn't work. My printer is not printing. I couldn't handle that. I would have to be in a hole somewhere doing network configs or something like that. But I love teaching. I love I love watching people learn stuff that's new to them that they're interested in, and I'll do it forever. It's one of my favorite things. All right, let's go back to some videos. I didn't get very far on here. We're having good chats though. So this Roomba one, love my Roombas. Oh wait, no, I skipped one. I skipped this one. This is like my best video, and nobody watches it, and nobody does it, and I don't know why. So this is my favorite thing. So when I have an Echo Dot, and that Echo Dot connects to the stereo receiver, and when you have an Echo Dot connected via Bluetooth, it's connected via Bluetooth to the stereo receiver. And when you connect an Echo Dot via Bluetooth, they stop using their internal speaker, so you can't hear them anymore. And so it drives me crazy because when the stereo is on the TV input, then you don't hear what the Echo is saying, and that drives me absolutely nuts. And so I built these little Arduino Nano things that control the power on the Bluetooth adapter, and it shuts the Bluetooth adapter on and off whenever it receives the specific signals from the remote to, say, switch to TV. So when it switches to TV mode, it captures the IR from that, and then that turns off the Bluetooth adapter. And when it turns off the Bluetooth adapter, that makes it so that the Echo disconnects, and then it starts talking through the Echo again. It's awesome. It's the best. I don't know. Nobody watched the video though. 3.4K views, not that many. What did I go to school for, if I don't mind sharing? My degree is pre-medicine, and then also I have a degree, a BS in social psychology. I, interestingly enough, when I went to school, I wanted to be an anesthesiologist. How weird is that? All right. So upgrade your old Roomba. Love my Roombas. They're running awesome. One of my Roombas, the downstairs Roomba, I think um, the buck converter maybe was bad, and so twice I burned out the chips because I think it was getting surges of high voltage, and so the ESP01 burned out twice. And the first time I just took the ESP01 off and I left the buck converter on and put a new ESP01 on. And then the second time it happened, I was like, well, something's wrong here. And so I took the buck converter off and the ESP01 off, and I programmed a new one, and it's been working like a champ. So I wanted to be Dr. Z's. Yes, that's exactly it. When I first started talking to Dr. Z's, um, we had these hilarious chats because I wanted to be an anesthesiologist, and he is an anesthesiologist, and we had both just finished putting up our holiday LEDs on our houses like simultaneously. Like before he had made any videos on them, we both did that thing at the exact same time. We did it differently, and we used different sketches and things like that, but we just had been doing all the same stuff. And then we figured out that we could never be good friends because that he roots for Michigan and I root for Ohio State. So that's a bummer. Uh, my buck converter. Let's see. Yes, I love my buck converters. I have tons of them. Now you can get the big ones. I think Dr. Z's linked some big ones on his last live stream. But when I'm using a buck converter, I'm generally making something very small that doesn't already have um, voltage regulation on it. So I use these small flat ones, and they're awesome. Love them. Yep, OSU in the Rose Bowl tonight. They won. What's my next video going to be? It's tomorrow, and it's on migrating HASS.io from a Raspberry Pi to a Windows virtual machine. I have a 10-year-old Roomba. It's staring at me, but it always throws errors even after a good cleaning. A deep dive is on my list. So are a lot of things. Yeah, I hear you, Ian. Like I said, my Roombas that I'm using 5 series Roombas, so a 560 and a 580, and they are absolutely awesome. Thanks. Yeah, Matt, that's what's happening in the video tomorrow, so it'll hopefully come at the exact right time for you. It's got how to set up a static IP on your virtual machine, and how to restore the snapshot properly, and how to take the snapshots properly, and all that good stuff. It's not an American live stream unless someone's talking about. I don't actually watch that much football, to be honest. I'm too busy for football. I got stuff to tinker with. My wife watches football though. My wife loves it. How did I get into coding and networking stuff? I just always liked it. I never really, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I just started doing it, and I think that's the biggest thing to do is just get out there, just buy some stuff and start taking it apart and tinkering. I was when I was in high school, I worked as a shop technician, wrenching on cars at a BP Pro Care, and uh, I loved it. It was fun, and then um, I started doing computer stuff. Also, I've always been into computers. Also, all right. Let's see here. Um, Top 5 best smart home value, best value stuff. This is, I've gotten a lot of crap in this video for um, talking about Google Wi-Fi over Ubiquiti stuff, but I still support it. I love Google Wi-Fi. It's going great. Node-RED how-to. A lot of stuff is the same in this. A lot of stuff. This is basics. Although I've heard a lot of people say that DigiBlur stuff is better because he goes a little slower. It's possible. My videos, I really try to make them short, and I really might try to make them so that you don't have to fast forward through them. That they're just lots and lots of information quickly. And if I figure that they're videos so people can just go back and watch them again. Uh, so, but lots of people watch this video. This is, I think, where people first started subscribing to my channel. 66,000 views. That's pretty good. Sending Ubiquiti USG back to Amazon for lack of VPN support. Let me guess, old curmudgeon, are you using OpenVPN? It has very poor OpenVPN support. Yeah. Yeah. That's a bummer. Tesla Model 3. So we just figured something else about this, something out about the Model 3 stuff. So if you're using the Tesla integration for Home Assistant, if you have a Tesla and it ever comes up saying that it's unavailable, what we figured out is that you have to, when you restart Home Assistant, you have to open up the app on your phone and get your Tesla to wake up first. Otherwise, it'll try to ping the API, but the car isn't awake, and then the Home Assistant integration will time out, and so it'll not give you your information. But if you open up the app on your phone first, and then you restart Home Assistant, then during that time at the very beginning, Home Assistant will be able to contact the car, and then it'll have the correct information, which is good because and then it keeps it from going to sleep or whatever, which you lose a little bit of battery life, but it's like 1% of battery life per day. Not bad. Mastering Node-RED Part 2. That was a good video. I like that video. Lots of specific stuff in here. This is where I talked about Shishmexa local nodes. That's what we call our echo dot, so that she doesn't listen to us. Shishmexa. But I still use the local nodes for it all the time. Connect your pool to smart home. I think this video didn't get as many views as it should have because I said connect your pool. Really, it's about connecting anything you want to your smart home using opto-isolators to press buttons. I should redo this and make it more accessible to people because it's not all about computers. It's just about pressing buttons. It's about simulating a button press. Make a wireless doorbell smart for $20 and program it with or without Arduino. I got a couple things to say about this video. First of all, the doorbell works great. However, about every 6 months or so, I have to go in and press the repair button, and then not repair, but repair, and then press the doorbell again because for whatever reason it loses. It's like every 6 months probably it loses the pairing with the RF for that doorbell, which is really annoying to have to do it. But it doesn't take more than a second to actually do that. That's a good idea, Ian. I love electric blankets. So embarrassing things that I will share on stream. My favorite things are foot warmers. So I have one of the Cozy Toes. I have a Cozy Toes under my desk. It's awesome. Best thing I've ever bought. If you don't know what a Cozy Toes is, you should immediately buy one if you ever have cold feet ever. Cozy Toes. Wait, that's not it. There it is. Yeah. I know I live in Florida, so how cold could it be? But like, these things are the best. Cozy Toes. Ugh. I don't know what I'd do without it. It'd be miserable. I know, Ian. That's the worst part. I have no reason to need a Cozy Toes, but I have one anyways, and I love it. No, it was 85 today in Tampa. But I still have a Cozy Toes under my desk. I didn't turn it on today though. So yeah. All right, let's see. Automated HASS-IO backups. Still use this, although I'm going to have to change it now. So this part doesn't need to be as complicated as it was for the video because I've switched to Frank's version of Node-RED now. Frank's version of Node-RED backs up with a snapshot without backing up all of Node-RED. I mentioned that my backups were huge, and why were my backups so huge? Well, they were so huge because I was backing up the program Node-RED rather than backing up the flows from Node-RED. You had to back up the share folder instead of backing up all the program files. And so you don't need to do that anymore because Frank's version is written the right way, and so the snapshots actually work perfectly when you do a full snapshot. And now that I've got my and that's the reason why most people watch this video is, and I should put somewhere, maybe I should make a new thumbnail or something like that. But a really important part about this doing backups is, or this backup video, is that it shows you how to set up the recorder component so that you don't have a giant database file. And I think most people out there haven't set up their recorder properly, and so their database files are enormous, and so that causes a problem. I do not back up to GitHub Media Cowboy. I back up to Dropbox, and I will never ever back up to GitHub. Now, I might back up to a Git that is private, but not GitHub, because if you screw up one time and you have one thing, one password or something like that, one important thing, and you throw it up there, and you probably don't even know that you did it. Well, that's public, and it's not just public, it's public for good. You can go back and see the revisions of somebody's GitHub account. And so if I upload a file and it has a password in it and I delete the file, well, you can just go back and look at the revisions and see the old deleted file, even if I deleted it. So no, never. I will never back up to GitHub. Dropbox only. Are you going to do any electrical monitoring at the breaker box or reading utility readings? Stuart, I don't know if you, on the Facebook page for Shelly, they posted a link that he had the little clamps in his hand. Dimitar had the little clamps in his hand for doing breaker box monitoring. So I think that might be coming from Shelly. Isn't Dropbox in the cloud, Dan? Absolutely, Dropbox is in the cloud. I love cloud storage. They are much better at keeping my stuff safe than I am at keeping my stuff safe. I have in my house, the machine that I have right next to me here runs a Plex server, and it also runs a Cronus True Image and does all of the backups for the house. And so all of the hard drives back up once a week onto this thing. And even then, I lose stuff sometimes. Hard drives crash, and I have a backup that's a week old, and so I've lost stuff for that week. But cloud storage, have you ever heard of anybody say, "Oh, I lost my Dropbox. My Dropbox crashed, and so I lost all my files"? No, nobody ever says that, because that doesn't happen. Dropbox doesn't lose files. Google Drive doesn't lose files. They have the infrastructure to keep your stuff really, really, really safe. And so I absolutely use their cloud storage. And DSB09. Let's see what that is. I thought about doing the It Kind of Works guy. Made not on Amazon. OpenHab projects, Aeon Labs. Oh, there it is. Currently unavailable. Can you buy them anywhere? The energy monitoring things? It looks like they're unavailable everywhere. Smarthome.com. Let's see. Product is unavailable. No? That scares me. Why are they unavailable? Because they were unsafe, or because they are no longer supported? I don't know. Whole home usage is interesting. Like the sense stuff that could figure out which things, like when your pool pump was turning on and things like that. Curmudgeon, you use a Cronus too? I love a Cronus. They don't get all that much press for how good their backup system is, but they're awesome. Because insurance was the world. What was that in reference to? Monitoring electric dryers, like 220 dryers. Whew. Yeah, there's some, Alex, there's some cool way that it can figure out like the digital signature of the different types of motors and stuff like that. The Sense does that. I don't have one. can tell you an insane amount of. Oh, you know, Stuart, he's probably using, he's probably measuring or monitoring the dun light, the LED light. I've done that. I have a sensor on my salt monitor outside for the pool because it blinks and it turns different colors. So I just have a little light sensor on it. How are my window sensors holding up? They're awesome. Love them. Still use them. They're perfect. I haven't replaced any of the batteries and none of them are complaining. So an ohm meter that wraps the cable. Oh, that's interesting. All right, let's go back. All right, so automated has to back. Simple, reliable, smart home computer power under $10. This is just a really, you know, easy video that I made here about turning a computer on and off, not using Wake on LAN, but using an actual opto isolator to trip the power button. Understanding MQTT and the Internet of Things. Lots of people need to watch this video. I answer questions all the time about Retain and QoS and things like that, and all of that is in this video. I wouldn't change anything about this video. It's spot on still. Is the Fire TV right for you? The Fire TV Cube right for you? I have one. It serves its purpose really well for what I wanted it for, but it's not the thing for everybody. They just added whole home audio to it, so that's good. It didn't have that before, and now it does. Have I done the DIY sliding curtain? Not yet. It's on the list. It's on the list. In fact, I had a breakthrough. I don't know if it was much of a breakthrough actually, but I had a breakthrough 2 days ago where I got some thread, some really strong thread, and I have essentially the curtains, you know, when they're closed, they're this close together, and when they open, they try to pull apart like this, and when they get that stretched out, that, you know, it's like putting on the brakes. And so what I did was I took the thread and I threaded a spot between the two grommets, between the two curtain grommets, so that they can't ever get like this. They get stuck like this, and so they're able to pull each other across. Now the problem is that I just did it on my small window, and so the curtains are like a quarter of the size of the curtains that are on the big window that I have in my bedroom that needs to get updated or needs to get automated. So I got to figure out what kind of wire that is, what kind of wire I can use for that. Every time you say the word pool and outside, I want to send you snow. Ian, I lived in Ohio for 18 years. It's not like I've never seen snow. There's a reason I live in Florida. I hate snow. I hate the cold. Everything about it. Lock myself out of your Node-RED account. How do you reset the password? I'm using Frank's version. The password on Frank's version is just your Hasio password. So if you whatever your user account is, and if you haven't updated to whatever 0.82 was, or 0.80 was 80 when they added user accounts to Home Assistant, but if you haven't upgraded to that and you switch to Frank's newest version, it ain't gonna work. So you gotta upgrade so that you get the user accounts, because it uses local. He doesn't call it local authentication. Yeah, I think maybe he does. Local authentication. So fishing string, yes, that's what I'm using right now. I have Bully Braid fishing line, but it's only like 20-pound test. I think I can get like 100-pound test. Do I have plans anywhere for what? Oh, making boards. Oh, for all those ESPs. Order your A10 printer to print your window sensor enclosures. Awesome. Easy way to integrate iTunes into your whole home or just off your receiver connection. I dumped iTunes. I had Apple Music for a while and I don't use it anymore. I use Spotify. Spotify is awesome, and I haven't looked back. Do I have a favorite automation? Yep, my favorite automation. Well, my favorite useful automation is I have a button that's next to my desk downstairs that is a Tasmatized Sonoff, and it's normally turns on the up lights, but if you long hold it, it turns on bedtime mode, and bedtime mode turns off all the relevant lights, gives us a 5-minute timer for the lights to get up the stairs, turns on the security, the alarm for the house, and does a check on the garage door to make sure the garage door is closed. And if it's not closed, it sends me a text to say to close the garage door. And it turns off the alarm for my daughter's door so she can go to the bathroom in the middle of the night without flashing lights in the house. Definitely that automation, bedtime automation. That's the most useful. Now the most fun automation, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of fun automations like the doc has. He's got the one for when Michigan scores. Shelly's Tasmota or their firmware. I am using Tasmota on my Shellys, Tony. I know you got them all in there. I know you got them all on the walls now, but I'm using Tasmota, and it just it's not that I don't trust Shelly. Nothing against them. I just don't want to use their cloud, and they have a local too, but they can always push firmware and stuff like that. And I don't want that. I don't want any part of that. Sally, that's a good question. Why text to shut the garage door instead of just shutting it via Node-RED? Because I have a 6-year-old and sometimes she leaves her bike like in the garage door, or a scooter, underneath the garage door. And so if it's open, I need to go out there and check to see if it's going to smash something, or, or something like that. Is there somebody still doing scores and game? ESPN dropped the if support. I don't know. It's a good question. And I wonder if ESPN themselves has just like an API. I'm sure you could pull them from Google. If you search on Google, you'll always get the score at the top. So you could probably pull them from the Google search API. Volumio. Yeah, I haven't used Volumio yet. 240 volt powered Tasmota button. $240 powered Tasmota button. What do you mean, Alex? Don't need switching, hence not a Sonoff. Why don't you just disconnect the relay? I mean, a Sonoff is like a pretty small, or a Shelly. A Shelly is just a really small power converter and then microprocessor. Do I update my Tasmota devices once deployed? Nope. If they work, I don't touch them. Did I try ESPerna? No, I haven't tried ESPerna, but interestingly enough, ESPerna. I laughed because the guy that made ESPerna, Jose Perez, this guy, also made the driver that I used for my ZemiSmart video. This is the LED driver that the library for it that I used, and I was like, you go around and you find a lot of random people making random libraries and stuff, and that's great. And then I looked and I was like, wait a second, this is the guy that made ESPerna? That's crazy. He's helping me out all over the place. But no, I haven't tried ESPerna yet. Where did my chat go? Can you show more photos of your NeoPixels outside your house? I don't have NeoPixels, but I have. They're like NeoPixels. They're ESP8266. And I've got, here, I'll put this video up. Here's another YouTube channel that I have that you can watch stuff on. I don't post anything to it. It mostly just has like personal stuff on it, but I posted some Christmas light videos to it last year. There's also a really popular video about making a hot tub cover lifter from like 6 years ago. That's fun. Wait, where is the hot tub cover lifter video? Did I take it down? I wouldn't have done that. Did I? I don't know. How do I see that? I don't see it on here. Oh no, it's still on there. 7 years ago. 100,000 views. Weird. Is it my old house? When I compiled and flashed OTA firmware upgrade, I get the following message. Upload failed. Upload buffer miscompare. Alright, so that problem is caused by when you select in NodeMCU, or you select in Arduino, the NodeMCU flash size, you need to have the same flash size selected for the new bin that you're writing as the old bin. So if you used 1 megabyte with 3 megabyte spiffs, you need to use 1 megabyte with 3 megabyte spiffs. If you yada yada yada, whatever you selected the original time that you flashed it, you need to select it again. And it's good that it's throwing that error. Otherwise, it just would have not worked at all, and then you would have had to go pull it out and reflash it by hand. I have some 2U switches that monitor power consumption, and that switch is working HA. How do I access power consumption feeders? I don't think you can, Mark. I don't think that's in the 2U integration for Home Assistant. How did I mount my aluminum profiles to the rain gutter? Just with screws. They come with like little mounting brackets. There's a video on that, right? Installation.
Terminal blocks just make it easy.
Let's see, it's in here. Yeah, you can see these little clips, right? Share. Start at 606. Copy. Yeah, I just screwed them into the rain gutter on the side there with those little clips, and then I clip them in. Have I tried Platform IO? I hate Platform IO with a passion. It's terrible. What settings do I normally use when flashing my NodeMCUs? 1 megabyte flash, 3 megabyte spiff. Do my LEDs slope with the rain gutter then? Slightly. Not too bad. Marcus, I hate when I'm programming things, I want it to do exactly what I tell it to do. I don't want it to do any magic in the background. I just want it to work. I want it to say, okay, I gave you this library here. I might have edited that library, and then I want that to get uploaded to the NodeMCU or to the ESP or Arduino that I'm using. I do not like in Platform IO that it obfuscates all of that from you, that you can't see what's actually happening, that it It's like, hey, you want to upload this to your Arduino? Cool. Let's go. I'm going to go grab this file from GitHub for you. I'm going to go, grab this. I'm going to install this integration for you. This is done by somebody else. I'm going to pull it all together and I'm going to put it all in here and it's going to work. Well, sure it works, but I don't like the magic. I want to know exactly what's happening. When I'm programming something, if I've spent the time to program something, I want to know all of the lines of code, not just the lines that I wrote and then, have it pull some random library. Any reason you soldered the LEDs and didn't use clip connectors with a little more room for solder? I soldered them because I'm comfortable soldering and because I think the clip connectors are not that waterproof. Just tried to open up a cheap RGB light. Was having some difficulty. Any recommendations without a spludger? No, get a spludger. They're great. Can you ask me? Hans, yeah. Shoot. What's your question on Node-RED, Hans? What do I teach and what level? I teach AP Biology, AP Computer Science, and Introduction to Engineering. Solder, yeah. Solder. Have I used the trigger state node much? No, I actually haven't. And the reason for that is that I haven't really written any new automations lately. And the ones that I have were just super simple. So I wrote an automation this month for using the holiday LED stuff. But other than that, I really haven't what's up, Liam? Uh, Other than that, I haven't written any new automations, and trigger state is new pretty recently, and so I haven't done that. Do you have a write-up on using ESP32 in BLE? Stuart, no, I don't have any HA switch plates. I'm gonna leave that to the doc. I I like them. They're cool, but I don't see myself tearing into a wall and installing them permanently. This Apple Watch? Yeah. All Home Assistant integration works on Apple Watch. What do you want to do? All of my push notifications go to my Apple Watch. I can trigger all of the push notifications um, from my Apple Watch. Everything. Have your students found/know about your YouTube channel? If so, what is their reaction? Yes, I believe there are 3 students in the chat right now. Their reaction is, I don't know. I don't think I have anything particularly shady on my YouTube channel, so it's probably not that interesting to them. I have a node-RED issue where I have 2 sources sending a command at slightly different times to a node. I need to change the order of the commands. Any idea? Yeah, you could do a lot of things. Probably the easiest thing to do would be to use a function node to do that, but that gets messy. You could use the combine node. So if you combine 2 payloads, so combine the first payload with the second one, and then write a function node that just switches them around, or combine the first payload with the second one, and then I think you could probably use a switch node to say message.payload equals whatever the first message is, and message.payload equals whatever the second message is with a delay, and that'll get you to switch them around in their orders. Lots of different ways you can do it. No, the notifications. So if you use push notifications, if you have actionable notifications set up on your Apple Watch, or if you have actionable notifications set up on your phone, then it'll automatically work with your Apple Watch. I just saw your, just saw your post, Tony. All right, let's go back. Let's. How far did we get through these? Not that far. Let's see. Okay, so we did this. Fire TV works out fine. Smart ceiling light, loving it. They work fine. They work great. Still use them all the time. It was a perfect solution for that. Picking the right pins. I go back to this video all the time too. It's my go-to video. In fact, what I would really love, the thing that would make me so happy, is if this diagram down here, this diagram, no, sorry, this diagram, if this diagram would come up when I searched for NodeMCU pinout on Google, I would be so happy. Because this is the diagram that I want to see when I search for NodeMCU pinout on Google, which I do all the time because I'll be, outside working on something or at my desk, with the computer put away and I have to click, search for it, and then I can't find this one, and this is the one that I want to see. Let's see what else. Correct inputs. This is a good video too. I like it. Nothing I would change about that one. DIY motorized shades. Still using those. I'm curious to see if I could have repurposed those barrel connectors, the barrel style shade automators for that. That would be cool. But those are working great. Add a door sensor to any door with a Sonoff Basic. We already talked about that. Is the Shelly one better than the Sonoff Basic? Yes, it is. It costs more money though. Use the rest component with the Shelly. I don't do this anymore. This video doesn't need to exist. Shelly integrated MQTT, and so this video is out of date. Beginner's Guide to Programming Individually Addressable RGB LEDs with Arduino. That's a good one. I like it. Nothing I'd change there. Fix mysterious switching. This one needs more views. This one should have 100,000 views, because this would save people so much time if they just learned about retain, and they would be so much happier with their smart home systems, because they'd not have random things happening where switches would turn on and off without them figuring, or without them knowing why. Add an Amazon Dash button. I don't use my Amazon Dash button anymore because I'm no longer taking that medication, because I no longer have heartburn or whatever that problem was, acid reflux. But if I need it again, I would use it again. Let's see, let's rechat. No, the D1 Mini is going to be the exact same pins, William. What controller did I use for my E131 lights? What do you mean, what controller? Right now, I have a Falcon F16 V3. But you could run them off of a NodeMCU if you don't have that many. You only learn about the retain flag the hard way. Ain't that the truth? When I first started using Home Assistant, and I didn't know anything about MQTT, because you don't learn about MQTT until you need to know about it. And so I had all kinds of sensors where in my Home Assistant configuration, I had retain equals true, or retain true underneath the sensor. And what is that going to do? A sensor's not like... Home Assistant was receiving the information. I was just like, yeah, I want Home Assistant to retain that. So I typed in retain true, not knowing that it had to do with how the MQTT message was going to be published. So it didn't actually do anything, but it didn't cause any errors, so that was good. Choice for RGB bulb that runs Tasmoda. Anything good apart from the B1? I have not bought anything else other than that, Alex, so I don't know. I use the dash button as a notification for someone fed the dog. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Amazon Dash button was a good one. Alejandro, which video should I change the title of? Which one says wireless doorbell? Could I switch to the dark theme? I honestly have no idea how to do that, but I will if you. How do I do that? Up here? No, that's not it. Is it over here? I have no idea how to switch to the dark theme. Never watch my videos the same way again when you know that I'm standing behind a bunk bed. Top right user profile button. Dark theme. There you go. More better? Oh, the repo where the NodeMCU diagram is. Oh, you're right. I should change that. I remember just throwing it in a random repo because I didn't want to start a new project because there wasn't really any code. I just had pictures. So that's a good idea. I should change that. Should you rename all of your entities to a common format? Device, location, name. Have I done this? I have not. Now my entities are decently named. I know where they are, but they're not common format. I just have to sort of remember and look them up. Although in Node-RED now it has the drop-down menu, so it doesn't matter. I want to say CP2102. Those are the ones that I always buy. The CP2102 is a Silicon Lab, a Scilabs, right? That's the Scilabs one? Yeah, that's the good one. The CH340. Who makes the CH340? Whoops. Oh, it's just a knockoff chip. Yeah, I get the 2102 for sure. That's the Scilab ones. That's like the Cadillac of USB to UART chips. All right, let's see here. Let's go back. We're down here. Node-RED. This one's still good. Everything's good about this one. Permanent holiday lights, the hardware. Nothing to change about that one. Yeah, no, nothing changed there. Arduino audio player. I'm not using it right now, but I will. I need to. I'm going to integrate it into the code for the holiday LEDs 2.0. Programming part. This part you don't need to watch anymore because I have the 2.0 video. In fact, I need to go back and put a link into the description of this with the 2.0 video. The 2.0 sketch is much better. I did a good job with the 2.0 sketch. I haven't had any problems with it yet. Although the fire is not perfect on it, the fire effect, but this one didn't have the fire effect really hashed out at all. You had to do it all yourself. So the new one is much better. Local control with factory Shelly firmware. So I did say that I don't have any Shellys with the Shelly firmware on them. That's not true. The my Christmas tree, because it was only going to be up for a month, I didn't bother putting Tasmota on it. But all my other Shellys have Tasmota on them, and they're working great. But if you did want to have local control with the Shelly firmware, you can do that. Three-way setup, good. Still using that. It's on the one in the hallway there. Installation, still good. This is automating the Christmas tree. This is the Shelly that still has the Shelly firmware on it. Light demo. Like I said, I'm not using these lights right now. This is just a demo of the program, and the one that I have, the 2.0 video is better, or the 2.0 software is better. It's not only faster, but there's less stuff for it to run, so it's more optimized, but also it looks just the same. Gift ideas. Those are great. Nobody bought me any of them. I was hoping somebody would buy me some Hacko stuff, some Hacko um, clippers, and nobody did. Some nippers. That's a bummer. Automate your toddler. Love this. So maybe this is my favorite automation, although it's not even a Home Assistant automation. My daughter's light is the best thing in the world. It's like it's why I get sleep in the morning. She knows exactly what she's allowed to do when each color light is on, and she follows it and she likes it, and it's perfect. It's awesome. Let's see. Let's check chat. If you were redoing your LED lights now, would you still get WS2812 strips? Yeah, they're cheaper. WS2813 is awesome, but you need another wire to do it, and I did see that, Alejandro. That's fun. I thought I was a cruel father. Um, you'd be surprised, old curmudgeon. I mean, if I started her so young, she had that light when she was like 2, and so she's just like used to it at this point. She started her so young. Back to the other thing. So would I get WS2812 strips? They are still the cheapest. WS2813 strip is like twice as expensive as a WS2812, and so yeah, I'd still do WS2812s. I haven't had any issues. Um, so you know, the WS2813s are fault tolerant, meaning you can they can have a LED go out and they won't have the rest of the strip die, but I haven't seen that happen yet. So and it's not the LEDs going out that would cause it. It would be if a chip died, then it would have the rest of the strip go out. But I haven't seen that happen yet. H&T and Shelly smoke. Something's wrong with my H&T right now. I don't know. I put it in the freezer for a long time, for like since this came out, so 3 weeks. It's been in the freezer for 3 weeks, and yesterday it stopped giving me updates. So I gotta figure out what's wrong with it. It might just be battery. I might have, or somebody might have thrown something on top of it, and like I don't know. But it's not working right now. Shelly Smoke is awesome though. Lots of lights to program for a 23-year-old. Yeah, lots of things. Go to work, pay your bills, yada yada. Thought about doing any Ambulite projects using the strips, using Hyperion and WS2812 strips around a TV. Yeah, so I have thought about doing that. The only reason that I haven't is that um, you need the HDMI splitter thing, um, and then an HDMI duplicator or something like that, or HDMI in for a Raspberry Pi for Hyperion. Um, and so it gets to be expensive for a little Ambulite project like that. You started out having a fun project with WS2812B strips and you've spent $100 on it. I don't know. I don't know about that. There's one that's called Dream Screen. Dream Screen. Dream Screen TV. So it's pretty cool, I think. That and I sent them an email and said that I would be interested in reviewing their project or their product, and they said, "Cool, you should buy one and review it." so, so I don't know. Uh, how did I mount the Shelly Smoke? I just screwed it into the ceiling. It's battery powered. Is there a retail application for LED strips? Enter the product you're looking for and follow the dancing lights. I don't know. That's a good idea. Like you would need your own personal shades that only had a color for you or something like that, and then it would just follow a track. We have Publix. Publix is our supermarket here in Florida, and they have an app, and so when you finish a product that you have all the time, so I drink a lot of orange juice or whatever, so you scan the little UPC and it adds it to your Publix shopping list. And then when you go to the store, and so my wife and I both have that same app on our phone, and so we have a combined shopping list. And then when you go to the store, it gives you a shopping list that is ordered by the aisles, and it's ordered by when stuff appears in the aisles. So you just look at the app and you walk down and you're like, okay, well, the next thing that I'm supposed to find is butter, and that's here. And the next thing I'm supposed to find is milk, and it's here. It's pretty sweet. Um, what was I talking? Oh, why did I tell that story? Oh, because we were talking about the LEDs on the ground. Um, but yeah, we're getting there. We're getting close to that. Oh, and the other thing that's cool about the Publix app is so it knows which location of Publix you're at, and so when you pull up your list, you just switch location to whatever Publix you walked into, and it changes the list around for you so that's in the order of the new Publix. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, the counter to impulse buying, exactly. Yeah, I guess they're making money just from people actually buying what they need. So that's nice. All right, we almost made it to the top of the list. Is the cloud safe? No. Should you use it? Sometimes. E131 lights, MQTT, or both. Love these things. In fact, if you are from the United States, Amazon US, you're going to order from Amazon US, and you would like a 80% off coupon. I have two 80% off coupons for the ZemiSmart downlights for you if you're watching and you want one. Just post in chat right now if you like I said, if you're from the US and you can use Amazon US. I have two of them that I can give away. So put like RGB light in the chat if you're interested in those, and I will select two winners and hit you up on Discord. ZemiSmart's been great to me. They're awesome. They sent me a few, or they texted me a few switches and said, "Hey, would you be interested um, in reviewing these?" And they were like the Sonoff T1, like that has the glass front on it, and I have no use for those. And I said, "Well, you could send me those, but I don't really have a use for that. Do you have any Decora switches?" And we went back and forth and talked about Decora switches, and they are going to send some pretty cool products. ZemiSmart, I really like ZemiSmart. Paul Hibbert does a bunch of stuff with ZemiSmart too. I like him. Brandon, don't worry about it if you don't have Discord. I can still find you. Converted my first ZemiSmart light the other night. Planning to do a whole man cave in these bad boys. Did it work well, John? I think the way that Publix gets you to buy stuff, Mike, is that they just have sales on things that you wouldn't normally want. You're like, oh, you know, Taki chips are BOGO? I'll buy some Taki chips. Why not? No, I don't know how that makes them any money because that stuff's half off then, but who knows? What made me choose Falcon over AlphaPix or Pixlite? Because I wanted it to be 100% integrated with X-Lights and Falcon Player. And so if you have a Falcon controller and you have Falcon Player, in X-Lights you just choose export, what's the thing? Export configuration, and it sends it to your Falcon controller, and it sends it to your Falcon Player automatically. You don't have to think about it at all. Yeah, John. Actually, so when I was reviewing the light, I went to their website, to their SemiSmart website, and I scrolled down, and who was there but Dr. Z's? There's a Dr. Z's review of the SemiSmart light on the SemiSmart website, and it's funny because the thing that he said in his video was that it was a great light and it was really bright, but it was a shame that he couldn't get into the innards of it because he wanted to, you know, to mess with the programming, because he thought that that front cover didn't come off. But I just, like I said, I just bent it over and it was able to pull the cover off pretty easily. Just pry it off. What language should I use? What type of chips? Did I miss something, Ian? What are you talking about? For a language should I use? What type of chips? I write almost everything in C. Although I do know JavaScript and I'm okay in Python, but mostly I write in C. Oh, what kind of, oh, Takis? Taki chips? I don't know if it's that, if they're these guys. They make super spicy, like, chip. They're like these rolled up corn chip things. Zombie. They're good. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. There's my virtual box. All right, so we made it to the end here, right? Holiday LEDs, step by step, 2.0. That's the good one. This is a really good program. It's really the first program that I've ever written for deployment that is for, you know, mass consumption, and I've been happy with it thus far. I think it's worked quite well. What is happening here? There we go. Oh, that's not it. It's this. So yeah, it's got this big user configuration section so that nobody has to edit any code at all. You just put in your stuff here. You select how many LEDs you've got, and then it does everything else. It's got a bunch of if-defs in it, right? If you define things certain ways, it includes them in the compiler, and it doesn't if you don't do other things. So it's really efficient code. Happy with it. And then the 20,000 subscriber house tour. That was fun. Although I had to record part of it twice because the battery died on my microphone. That was sad, but it was fine. Heartburn in a bag. Yeah, I I like everything spicy. I actually just got these delicious pickled spicy or spicy pickled green beans. They come in like a pickle jar, but they're like super spicy and pickled. Delicious. Do I plan to do any C tutorials? Probably not, James. There's people who are better at it than me. And like the thing about C is once you learn the basics of it, I I Google a lot of stuff. I forget how to, I know what's possible. I'm like, okay, here's what I have to, here's the function I have to use in order to do this, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, I forget the syntax of that, so I got to go and Google it, and then I can put that in. But good coding is a lot of Googling. I don't think I don't think there's very many coders out there who can just sit down and write every single function from memory and know the syntax of every function and know, you know, the exact order of all the variables that have to be presented and stuff like that. Maybe those people exist, but I certainly am not that person. I do a lot of Googling when I'm coding. Have I ever tried OpenHab? I've never tried OpenHab, no. Please thank my wife for the inconvenience of the house tour. I actually did it while she was gone. Her and my daughter were out of the house for like 2 hours, and I was like, okay, well, this is my time. This is my time to do it. So I ran around the house and videotaped a bunch of stuff while they were gone. You can place Yep, I agree, Mike. They're awesome. Yeah, I gotta get running too. It's midnight. It's my bedtime, and I've got these two giant lights shining on me right now, so my body thinks it's noon. So I gotta go wind down, play some video games or something. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Do you have a new Shelly RGBW module? I don't, actually. The RGBW modules that Shelly has are for dumb RGBW strips, and I don't have any of those. I only have 2812s in my house. Have you ever checked out HomeSeer? Yeah, not a fan of HomeSeer. It costs money, and it's ugly. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been awesome. I'm gonna go back into the chat. First of all, I figured out for this video, I haven't given away any secrets like in the last video. So I don't have to edit anything, and so the chat should be available forever. And then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do these. I'm gonna make a drawing, a little NodeMCU sketch that goes in and pulls all these names here, and I'll do the drawing, and I will hit you up on either Discord or on Facebook if you're on there, and I'll find you. But yeah, good seeing everybody. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. You're subscribed. Thanks for all the time and efforts. Thanks, guys. I'll see you.